Okay, here goes nothing. We're gonna make another steak today. Um, I'm just gonna do the same thing I did last time, a little bit differently, but the same. I've got potatoes. I've got the roasted red pepper bruschetta that I'm gonna put in there with it. Salt, pepper, minced dried garlic, and then the Montreal steak seasoning. So we're gonna see how we do on this one. If it doesn't work out, it's a fail. Whatever. Think I need a bigger knife. My 10-inch chef's knife is just more comfortable for me. So I'm gonna open my potatoes. I've had my pan going, medium heat for 2 minutes maybe. So there's that, and I like the openers that don't give you that sharp edge. So now I'm just turned over here in the sink. I'm just going to rinse these out, put them in a different container. Now, we need to get some grease in this pan. Save your bacon grease. Bacon grease is fine. You can sit it on the windowsill in a jar. It's not going to go bad. And it's free. And it tastes great. Alright, so I'm draining and rinsing these potatoes. That was fun. Alright, so swirl our bacon grease around in the pan. Potatoes are wet. There's not a ton of grease, so I'm not going to cause any fires like anybody. But that was a very good reaction. He did good on that. I'm not naming names. These are just plain potatoes. Nothing special about them. They're freaking canned potatoes, so maybe at some point I'll have another camera or I'll do another angle. But right now this is how it is. So I'm going to let those cook. I'm going to cut up my onion. I have a yellow onion, but this one is deteriorating a little bit faster, so I've decided I'm going to use a red onion. It's not going to hurt anything. Red onions, yellow onion, it doesn't matter. So we're just going to cut this onion in half. And that's probably all I'm going to use is half of this onion. Maybe more than that because this thing is deteriorating pretty fast. That's not too bad. Trying to pull off a little extra than one layer of that onion. And we'll cut it really thin because I want it to cook faster, And I'm not going to worry about dicing it because that's just silly. I'm just going to leave it in slices. And we'll get that cooking. And then we'll just let this go for a little bit. We'll have to make room in here for the steak, but I think we can figure it out. Once the potatoes cook down a little bit, you can stack them. I mean, you want kind of a crisp skin on some of them. Doesn't have to be on all of them, but I mean, as long as they're cooked, which, I mean, they're canned, so they already are cooked. Just trying to get a little brownness to them. Get a little bit of flavor with the onions. Let's get going with a little bit of salt, because you know you got bacon grease in here, so you don't need that much salt. Not much at all. We'll do some pepper. And we're gonna use garlic and the roasted red pepper, bruschetta, but we're gonna hold off on that for a second. See if we can find something to stir this around with. A spatula. Y'all see it's spitting a little bit, which is okay. You just got to be careful. While this stuff is going, I'm actually probably going to flip these potatoes. Flip these potatoes over. Alright, flip the potatoes over. I've pretty much got the potatoes off the heat. The onions are on the heat. Maybe I'll just put it back. Yeah, that's what I'll do. Okay, and then I'll let these go for a little bit. I'll cover it up. So it's going to steam up. You're not going to be able to see much, but I mean, stuff's in a pan cooking. So it's time to get my steak out. And I have boneless choice ribeye steak. So we're eating the good again today. Hopefully by the time I get this steak ready, my potatoes and my onions will be ready. I've got to pull my veggies out of the fridge or freezer. So we'll see how that goes. We will put some steak seasoning all over our steak. Like I said, there's no need to put salt or pepper on this steak because there's salt and pepper in this, and it's cooking in bacon grease. So there's no need to put salt and pepper on your steak. Now I can put a couple of these potatoes right on top of each other. And just continue to cook them. I'm going to turn the heat down a little bit because I'm getting ready to throw this steak in there. Steak usually 2-3 minutes per side is how I like my steak. And we can go ahead and let's just go ahead and put the steak in. We'll do it like this. My steak's cooking now. I have to pull the asparagus out of the freezer. And we'll put a little bit of the steak seasoning on the other side, not as much as the other, because this stuff goes a long way. I think. I mean, it just depends on your tastes, I guess. So, got the steak going. Where is it at? There it is. So, got that working. I'm still working with the angles and all that, so just bear with it. It is what it is. We're going to do asparagus. And yes, I'm working with frozen asparagus because I have it and it's cheaper for me. Things might not be the same for you. But for me, frozen asparagus is just as good. It's not better. I'm not saying that at all. But it's just as good. I'm going to turn that down some more because that stuff's cooking away. I'm going to put some roasted red pepper bruschetta in there. Like I said, I'm still working with the angles on the camera and all that stuff, but it's definitely not bad. So we're just going to put a little bit of the roasted red pepper in there just for a little color. And we can probably put in our garlic now. We've got the heat turned down pretty well. I've got the steak is the only thing on the heat, really. So I might have to flip those potatoes again. We'll see. Let's put this back up. Kick the heat back up a little bit, so I don't make a half-hour video how to make a steak. So I'll get this asparagus in there as soon as I can because it is frozen. Yeah, I eat steak maybe once a week. Maybe, depending on what I find at the store and what I have at the house. But this is how I cook a steak. I usually have potatoes with it and some kind of vegetable. I don't always have the onions, but like I said, the red onion was kind of headed south, so I had to use it. And I'd rather use something than throw it away, so let's see what our steak looks like. I didn't set a timer, which I should have. Let's set one for the next round. Let's do 3 minutes. Well, it's not as done as I would like, but let's see if we can do that to the other side. Okay, so I turn the heat back up. And I'm going to grab a fork. I'm going to flip these potatoes again. Maybe stretch them out a little. I'm a one pan kind of guy. Because the more pans I make dirty, the more pans I got to clean by hand. I don't have a dishwasher. All this stuff is cleaned by my hands. And yeah, I mean, being a chef for so long in a restaurant, or I mean, whether you're a chef or not, it really doesn't matter. You get the calluses, and yes, you can reach in the pan and use your hands. A lot of people do the same thing. Let's see if I can get this thing turned around and get more room in there. I might have to take these onions out. But the more they cook, the sweeter they'll get. Especially being a red onion, they're pretty sweet themselves. However, it was getting old, and they get really strong when they get older. So we will see. I need to put my asparagus in there. So I've got everything's going now. Got 1 minute left before I need to check on the steak. We'll see how things go. Cooking is always a process. You never know how it's going to turn out. But I've been doing steaks for a little bit, so I'm pretty confident. And I put garlic in there, yep. Well, let's put some garlic on the potatoes. Why not? And like I said, there's enough bacon grease in there. I'm really not too worried about the salt. And it says that's 3 minutes on that side. So I'm going to go ahead and flip it, and we'll see how it's doing on the other side. Maybe I'll leave it for a little, yeah, I'll leave it for a little longer. Maybe I'll even put some asparagus under it, because the asparagus needs more room. And it's looking still a little rare right now. A rare steak is definitely not bad for me. I tend to like it a little bit closer to medium rare rather than rare. It depends if I plan on just like eating half the steak. It depends on how big the steak is. Maybe I'm only going to eat half of it and I'm going to reheat the other half. Cook it less. If you plan on reheating it, cook it less than you want. That way, if it cooks over, you have a little bit of leeway. But like I said, it's a little bit more in depth than my short that I did a while ago. I can use two hands now. So hopefully there'll be more of this coming. Hopefully I'll have better angles. This is just the first angle I got. So let's take these onions out of here the best we can. And of course the steak is going to keep, everything is going to keep cooking while I'm taking these onions out. The pan is screaming hot. So, and like I said, it's only half an onion, but like for me, it's plenty. Let's scoot this steak over here. Scoot the asparagus back out. Saute that a little bit more. Get a little crunch on it. And potatoes still need a little crunch. So we'll turn that down. Let those go for a little bit longer. I'll do a little cleanup while we're at it. You can't see me cleaning up. Oh darn. I'm getting ready to call it because it's already been a minute and a half over. It's looking a little better there. Getting a little crust on the potatoes, not much. But it's definitely getting there. That's done. That steak is done. That is one done steak. It's probably overdone. Now, that roasted red pepper stuff has a very nice oil in it, and it spreads the roasted red pepper flavor all over everything. It's great. I love it. I'm gonna drop one. I need to pull the pan over. Just get everything out of the pan because everything is definitely cooked. It's had more than enough time to cook. Alright, and then we take the pan, we stick some water in it, throw it back on the burner, turn it off. The pan will clean itself, more or less. It'll make it easier to clean, put it that way. But that's your steak. That's your steak, potatoes, asparagus. And let's see if I can show you. Yeah, it's a little bit less than medium rare in some spots, but like I said, that's not bad for me. That's definitely medium rare. So part of it has gotten overcooked, part of it is not cooked as much as I would like, but it's still definitely a good steak. So hopefully you like this video. Hopefully I can do more of this in the future. But I'm going to go eat this steak. Have a great day. I'll talk to you next time.